Hi guys, so we are going to talk about how to set up our station properly, whether you're at school or you're at home, and we're going to start showing you some knife cuts today. So the first thing you guys are going to want to do is go ahead and grab your apron, and when you are wearing your apron, you want to make sure that you are keeping it close to your body and that it's not loose. We want tight fitting apron. So go ahead, put it over your neck. Let's see. Okay. And go ahead and wrap it behind you. And what you're going to want to do is tie a knot so that it is just a little tight to your surface, to your body, so that it's not too baggy. Don't bring the strings around and tie them in the front. It could get hooked on something. So you want to make sure that it's good and tight. It should be up on your chest, so it should fit up tight, and again, not hanging down loose or baggy. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and set up our station. So I already removed any of my jewelry, my watches. You are allowed to keep, slick wedding bands, small type earrings on, or any of your necklaces should be tucked in. Washed my hands, put on my apron, and so I'm ready to go. So the first thing you guys want to find is, we saw in the video, was some sort of slip resistant cloth, either a paper towel, damp paper towel, or a towel, something that's going to keep the board from moving on the surface. Now, if your cutting boards has the rubber edge around it, it is a slip resistant board, you'll be good. So I'm going to put down this little slip grip that we have, and I'm going to go ahead and get my cutting board. Now when you set up your cutting board, you want to keep it back here. Here's the edge. You want to keep it about 1 inch off the edge of the side of the counter. If you put it right up against the counter, juices or anything that roll from the cutting board can just roll and then get all over the front of you or down onto the floor. So I've got that. We've talked about our knives before, how to handle them. Remember, you're grabbing it with your thumb and your finger with a grip around it, point side down at your side, and saying knife behind. When you get to your station, the knife goes up on the board, blade facing away from you, so that you have the area here to work. Now, if I put my knife at the top of the board, you're actually going to see it out of camera. So I'm going to keep it just down a little bit for working. The other thing you're going to need is some sort of kitchen towel. Now, we have just plain white kitchen towels that we bleach and use over and over. These are to help wipe up your surface area. If your hands are wet, you can wipe it. And as well as, remember to always wipe the blade so that it is away from you, not towards your hand, away, and then you can wipe your knife. So I keep a towel right off to my side so it's easy to get a hold of. Now, when you're going to be doing your knife cuts, you guys are going to be doing potatoes, onions, and bell pepper. We're going to teach you how to peel the potato, but you want to have some sort of a trash type bowl so that you're not always running back and forth from the trash can, especially if you're in class. If you're at home, maybe you do keep that trash can right next to you, but we don't ever want to work over the trash can. So I keep a little bucket handy for trash, onion skins, potato peels, things like that. I'm just going to set that right next to my board up on the corner. All right, so like I said, we're going to be working with onions, bell peppers, and potatoes. So I do not wash these for you. It's up to you. You always want to wash your vegetables and your herbs before you cut them. An onion has a natural skin on it, so we don't have to wash that. So I'm going to put that one off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and wash these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've washed our vegetables. You can see they're wet. I've put them in a little bowl with either a paper towel or you can even be using your cloth towel. You need to always dry them because you don't want to be cutting any vegetables that are wet, make them slippery. So there's the potato. I'm going to dry the bell pepper and put them at the top of my board, and then I'm just going to push my trash bowl back off to the side. So the other thing you guys are going to need to perhaps do is get some sort of a cookie sheet. These are called half sheet pans. They have a little lip on them, and I've covered mine with some sort of parchment. You can use a tray. You could even use a separate cutting board if you have one. But what you want to do is, as you're cutting your vegetables, is you want to lay them out. When you get all your ingredients ready, this is called your mise en place. So I'm pushing this off to the side as well, so I have something to put my cut vegetables on. All right, I'm going to show you the onion last, just in case my eyes start to water. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the bell pepper. So my feet are flat on the ground. They are about shoulder width apart, and I'm standing up against the counter. I'm looking down on top of my food, okay? I'm not standing all the way back and cutting over here, okay? You need to be looking straight down on your food. Now, review, when you grab your knife, you're gonna grab up here on the bolster. You're gonna put your thumb and your index finger, okay? So you're pinching it between those two fingers, and then you're wrapping your other three fingers around. Remember, you're not up here. That's a no-no, okay? You're on the sides, wrapping it around, and that also gives you not only this control, but this control. So you're using your wrist to control the angle of your knife. So when you're looking down, directly down on your knife, you should actually not see either edge, okay? If you're seeing an edge, then your knife is turned. You want to be nice and straight, okay? So most of the time when I see people cut bell peppers, they lay the pepper on the side and they cut the top off. Well, you're wasting all of this pepper right here. Now, as a pepper grows, all of the seeds are actually attached to the stem. So what I actually do is you can either turn it upside down or from the stem end so you can see, and you're gonna start by making slices. So when you use your knife, it's kind of a rocking motion. It's never a guillotine, okay? So you run, again, your other hand is claw, okay? Tip into the bell pepper and straight down and through. So I'm coming down along the sides, okay? Now if you turn your pepper again and go again, you should be able to take off 4 sides of that bell pepper. And come down here to the last one. Okay, then I'm actually, you can see, depending on the bottoms, you may be able to use some of this. So you can lay it down and just give a little cut on the bottom. But all your seeds are contained, and that goes into your trash bucket. All right, so now what we want to do is clean up our bell pepper a little bit. So this little white part, we want to trim that up. So very carefully, go in with your knife, okay, watch your hands, stand it up, and just clean out those little edges. Okay, and all these little seeds. Be careful when you scoop. You can either have what's also called a bench scraper. I'll have to find one. And you can also use that to scrape up and pick up your items. So we'll just go in, pull this out, and clean it up. Every time you set your knife down, again, it goes at the top of the board, blade away from you. Okay, so the first thing I actually want you guys to do on your bell pepper is you're going to do what's called a julienne. Okay, so julienne is about 1/4 by 1/4 by the length of the pepper. So this pepper is about 2.5 inches in length. It's about 1/4 inch thick, so that cut's already done for us. So what we're going to do is the next little 1/4 inch cut. So Again, fingers turned in, okay? Knife on, blade, and you're looking straight down and you're just doing these long little strips. And each time, again, putting the tip in first and then pushing down, okay? We want to make sure we're consistent in our cuts. The other thing you can see is that I'm keeping them all about the same thickness, okay? That way they're all gonna cook the same. The other thing is this is the outside of the pepper. I'm going from the inside to the out. Sometimes the outside can be a little waxy and hard to get through, okay? So, doing all these julienne slices first, okay? Nice little sticks, push them up to a pile, away from my board. Don't have your board overcrowded with vegetables or things on your board. Okay, last piece. And if you have to, if you get to the end, you can bridge your fingers over it, okay, and run your knife through very carefully. Okay, so there's our pile of julienne. So I'm going to take some of these, put them on my tray to show you. And then we're going to take them and we're going to dice the balance of them. So when we dice, you want to take 3 to 4 pieces, whatever you're comfortable with, and stack them back up, okay? One at a time is going to take you forever, so you guys need to start working so that you're doing a stack. So I'm going to do 4 pieces, okay? I'm going to turn to the side a little bit so you can see. My hands are curled in. I've lined them up. They're all nice and even. And I'm going to then do the same thing. Point in, pushing my point forward, and I'm going to do that little rocking motion all the way to the end. So then I have little 1/4-inch dices, okay? Very careful, put those on the side. Okay, I'll do it again. So take your pieces, line them up, and you can see I use the edge of my knife, line them up so that they're not all different lengths out here. Stack them up. I even use my pinky and my thumb to kind of squeeze them together, and then use your fingers, your knuckles rolled, 1/4-inch all the way down. Get that one in there. Okay. All right, I'm going to finish cutting these up and we'll get our next one ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to show you my little tray I have off to the side. So julienne, bell peppers, diced peppers. You will be dicing your entire bell pepper, but the photo that you're going to send to me, you're going to be showing me your julienne first and then some of your diced bell pepper, okay? The reason why you'll be dicing the whole thing is you're going to end up doing your potato hash using the entire bell pepper. All right, I am going to go over to the onion next because once you start to cut a potato, it's going to turn brown on you and oxidize. So let's go to the onion next and hope we don't start to cry. So onions are round, so we want to be really careful. They can be slippery when it goes to cutting them. You need to kind of know the parts of the onion. So this would be the root end, has these little fuzzy kind of ends, and then there's your stem end, okay? So the onion does grow underground, but it does have this thin little paper skin that helps protect it. So this is really not edible. It doesn't break down. It's very chewy. So we want to make sure that when you are cutting an onion, that you are cutting it properly and that we are removing all of the skin. So cutting the onion in the first cut is going to be your most important cut. So knowing that this is the stem end, I want you to lay it down very carefully because it will still roll. And I want you to cut off that top part. Now don't go real close to it, okay? Back up here a little bit and go ahead and cut that entire portion off. Okay. You have to clean your board up a little bit. Then you now have a nice flat surface. Put that straight down on your cutting board and then cut directly through the root down to the cutting board so that you're cutting that onion directly in half. So now you have 2 halves of an onion, and what you'll start to see now is you have those layers. All right, now peel your onion. It's going to be much easier to go in here and try to peel off that first layer, get rid of all of that, and then be able to cut your onion. So the first thing we're going to do is actually a dice, all right? So the onion naturally has individual layers, which is going to be that 1/4 inch cut for you. All right, we're going to leave this root end on because it helps act like another hand. It helps hold that onion together. So the first thing I want you to do is stem end is near your holding hand. You're going to use the tip of your knife and you're going to make slits towards the root but not all the way through. And you're going to do them every 1/4 inch. That's going to be your second 1/4 inch. So straight down, make this little cut through. Okay, knife, remember, is straight up and down. Could just show you that way. Okay, hold on real quick. Maybe that will help. A little bit more light. Okay, and again, I'm not going all the way to the end of the onion because I want this to stay together. I'm gonna hold it, make another cut. Okay, clean your board. Anytime you get any onion skin or anything, put it in your trash, wipe your knife. All right, then using your thumb and your pinky, you're gonna hold the onion together, squeezing it, and you're gonna curl your other fingers on top, and now you're gonna do a 1/4 inch down, and that's gonna give you your 1/4 inch cut. The quicker you cut an onion, the less your eyes are gonna water. If you wear contacts, sometimes that helps you, okay? If you're not comfortable cutting this one more time, just stop, okay? Or go in with what I call the bridge. Go over and make that last little cut, okay? So half of the onion you're going to dice, and this is going to be the dice that you're going to use to make your potato hash. So half of the onion is in the recipe. Okay. Wipe my knife, wipe my board, get those juices off, make my eyes stop burning. Okay, then this is your other half an onion, and we're going to go ahead and cut it, and then we're going to freeze it so that you can use it for the future. So same thing, go in. If you have to, you can even remove that first layer of onion, okay, to make sure you get all that skin off. You don't want to eat that tough part of the onion. Okay, you're using nail brushes to wash and scrub your hands, so you'll be able to get that onion smell off your fingers. Okay, so this time though, we're gonna do a julienne, so something similar to what we did with the bell pepper, okay? If I was to cut the onion this way, okay, what I'm gonna end up with, and it's a little hard to see it on the white, let me just show you. So if you were to cut it that way, you would end up with these rings, okay? And you can see this is too small compared to this. This is not familiar, this isn't the same size, okay? So, put that off to the side. I can show you. So what we're gonna do is when you're gonna cut your onion, you're actually gonna go ahead, only for the julienne, you're gonna go ahead and remove the stem and your root, okay? Then with your knife, you're going to go around the onion, okay? So cutting it. And as you cut it, your knife is not straight up and down. It's at an angle. You're angling it towards the center. So you're angling it, and every time you cut, you're going to straighten it out. And you're only going to go up to the halfway point. You never cut beyond, okay? So straight down, and again, 1/4 inch up, down, all the way through, okay? And then when you're at the straight up and down, take the onion and roll it again. So now your hand is back here, and you're cutting out that 45. Okay, so there's my julienne onion. I'm going to put those on my tray. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to show you on my board, so you can see better than the white, what the julienne cuts look like when you cut them correctly. Okay. So now you can see these are all the same size, same length compared to this, okay? So this would be a slice, like if you were slicing it for a hamburger, okay? If you put this back together, that's a half a slice, okay? So julienne is when you're going around the onion and making them all the same length. All right, let me wash my hands, wash my board, and I'll show you the potato. Okay, so I'm back now, and we're going to show you how to do the potato. So this time we're going to use a different kitchen tool. We're going to use the vegetable peeler. Okay, it's called a vegetable peeler, not a potato peeler, because we can actually use it to peel carrots and also other fruits. There's different styles. Okay, these two are very similar. This one just happens to have a cover on the back. I guess some people could use their finger there. They're both basically a horizontal blade. Either one will work. The one I prefer is this green one here. It has the blade that goes the opposite direction. So it's the same, just the handle's a little different on it. I like using these. They're both, or all three of them, are also fall into what would be a knife. So you need to use them carefully. The blade on these is actually in the middle. So there's two. They both angle in, and they work to either pull or to push either angle, or if you're a left or a right-handed person, it works as well. The biggest thing is when you are peeling a potato is that you get in the habit of same thing as a knife, is that you're going away from your skin, not towards. Going towards, you could come up, you could slice the pad off your hand, so being very careful. Always wash before. Potatoes, again, are in the ground. The dirt would dull your blade. So wash it, dry it, make sure your board is clean. So I prefer not to work over a bowl because the peels are going to kind of fly everywhere. I look at half of the potato first and worry about that. It does take a little bit of a force depending on your strength and the sharpness of your vegetable peeler. So go around until you meet the other side. Then I go up, kind of do the tip of it. If you get to a point and maybe your potato has a little bit of a bad spot, cut it a couple more times or peel it a couple more times and see. That might just take it away. If not, then you might just have to cut it away when you're doing your knife cuts. So again, I'm going to come in through my other half, couple peels. We'll be peeling potatoes when we do our cream of potato soup or our loaded baked potato soup, and you want them really nice and clean, no peel or anything on them. Okay? All right, so put your potato off to the side. Clean up your station first. Get rid of all these peels because this is not what we want in our food. Same thing, when you get done peeling your onion, wipe your board, okay? Putting stuff in your hands, put it into your bucket, and move it off to the side. All right, I think for video purposes only, I'm gonna go ahead and switch boards. Normally, again, we would not do this, but I think it would be easier for you guys to see if I went ahead and cut on a different color board. So, again, typically a big no-no not to cut on wood, but I'm going to for video. All right, so the potato, it can roll a lot like the onion. So the first thing you want to do is see if you can find a flat spot where if I'm cutting, I'm being careful that it's not going to roll on me. If you can't, then take your knife and very carefully hold it up, and I'm kind of putting my palm of my hand on the cutting board so my hand doesn't roll. Go in with the tip of your knife and just slice a tiny little piece off, okay? And that now just gives me a nice flat surface to cut on. So the first thing you're gonna do are slices. I'm not gonna go this way, okay? That's the narrow way. I want nice, long pieces. Let's say where we're gonna do French fries, okay? So, starts out the same way. Don't get in the habit of automatically thinking you're gonna cut the potato right in half. Start over here, okay? Start on the edge with your claw and do 1/4 inch. Now, I put it in here. I'm not cutting too much with the tip. I'm guiding my knife through, okay? In, guiding it, tip on the board, and then straight down, okay? Again, starting with the tip, I'm not cutting with the tip, I'm guiding. I'm gonna kind of make a groove to get my knife in and then straight down, okay? So, same thickness, do it again. So, these are slices. When you're doing this, right, you should be looking over both sides of the potato, okay? If I do it correctly, I would be here. Now, as you get down to the little wobbly, it's getting wobbly, unstable, bridge, which means take a hand, go on either side of it, put your knife through, keeping your fingers out of the way, and then you can cut through right in half. So, I have 3 of those. I have 3 of those. All right, stack them up. Again, don't sit there and do one at a time. It's going to take you forever. Trying to see if I can line them up the same way. Okay. Take your knife, push them in, line them up, claw, and then down. These are sticks. Okay. Move your hand back. So now what you have would be like great little potato wedges, right? Throw some oil on them, throw some seasoning, put them on a baking sheet, real hot oven, we'll learn to roast, and you can do some French fries. All right, I'm gonna take these, put them on my tray. Those would be your sticks, okay? Those are a little thick for Julienne, but they're gonna lead you into that 1/4 inch dice that I want you to do. So take the other half, same thing, fingers curled, knife tip in, 1, 1/4 inch thick, 2, last one, 3. All right, take that stack, I'm gonna take half of that stack, I'm gonna line them up, okay, tips, maybe I give it just a little clean cut, throw those little flyaways away, and then you're gonna cut, okay? 1/4 inch all the way through. Nice little cubes. Okay, a couple little pieces, might throw those away. Okay, This is the size we'll be using for the hash, the potato hash. Okay, you want them all the same size. Now, to keep those potatoes from browning, you can also have a second bowl of water and put your cut potatoes in some water. Okay, and there's my other half. All right, move these over. Wipe my hands, wipe my knife. I'm going to show you. All right, so diced potato, diced onion, diced bell pepper. Okay, this half of the onion you're going to freeze. You're going to dice all of these and all of these for your potato hash, and that will be your next demo. Remember to wash everything up, put it away properly.